The defibrillator exploded. Sparks flew across the trauma suite. Emergency alarms screamed, and Beck, the human medic with 3 days of beard stubble and 0 patients left, dove sideways as burning components rained down. The Kethrin cub's small body lay motionless on the table, gray fur matted with blood, chest utterly still. "Are you kidding me?" Beck roared, scrambling up and ripping open a supply cabinet so hard the door flew off its hinges. "Dorath, back up defibrillator now!" Dorath, the insectoid physician with compound eyes reflecting chaos in 1,000 fractured images, skittered backward on his 6 legs, all 4 arms flailing. "The backup requires 17 minutes to calibrate. Kethrin biology is incompatible with—" "I don't have 17 minutes!" Beck's fist dented the wall. His other hand tore through drawers, throwing supplies everywhere. Syringes clattered, bandages unfurled, scalpels crashed to the floor. The cub, Klessa, 8 cycles old with paws too big for her body, had been dead for 43 seconds. Beck's fingers closed around a handheld neural stimulator, designed for minor nerve damage, absolutely not rated for cardiac arrest in a species with 3 separate heart chambers. "No," Dorath's mandibles clicked rapidly. "That device will—" Beck jabbed the stimulator against the cub's chest and cranked it to maximum. Klessa's entire body arched off the table, limbs rigid, claws extending. Her mouth opened in a silent scream. The monitor shrieked. Every light flickered. Dorath's bioluminescent patches flared white with horror. Nothing. The heart monitor remained flat. Beck hit her again, holding the stimulator there, his arm shaking, jaw clenched. "Come on, come on." Still nothing. Vrinth's roar shook the reinforced doors. The massive Kethrin warrior, 9 feet of silver-gray fur and barely contained violence, slammed against the entrance. The metal groaned. "Let me in! That's my cub." "Not helping, Vrinth." Beck's hands moved to the cub's chest. Compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4. The tiny ribcage flexed under his palms. 1, 2, 3, 4. He felt something crack. Ribs, maybe 2. 62 seconds dead. "Beck." Dorath's voice cracked. All 4 manipulator hands clutched together. "The brain damage threshold. I know the threshold." Sweat dripped into Beck's eyes. He grabbed the neural stimulator again, pressed it to her chest, cranked it higher than safety warnings allowed. The device screamed a high-pitched whine. The cub convulsed. Her claws raked the air. Her amber eyes snapped open, unfocused, terrified. The heart monitor stayed flat. "No." Beck leaned over the small body, one hand on her chest. "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!" 79 seconds dead. Pinnix, the floating jellyfish-like Greyland administrator, drifted in, his translucent bell pulsing agitated purple. His trailing tentacles coiled anxiously. "The human is experiencing emotional compromise. I recommend—" "Get out!" Beck's hands. "We're back on compressions. Harder." He felt more ribs crack. 1, 2, 3, 4. The cub's body jerked like a broken toy. "Beck, please!" Dorath's compound eyes were weeping, clear fluid running down his iridescent carapace. "You have to call it. Protocol states—" "Screw the protocol!" Beck grabbed the smoking neural stimulator a 3rd time, pressed it against the small chest. Nothing happened. The device was dead. Beck stared at it for half a second, then hurled it across the room where it shattered against the wall. 96 seconds dead. The trauma suite doors buckled. Vrinth's claws punched through metal, tearing it open. The massive Kethrin forced through, amber eyes wild, silver-gray fur standing on end, lips pulled back from bone-crushing fangs. She saw her cub, saw the blood, saw the stillness. The sound that came out of her made Beck's bones vibrate. Beck's hand was still on Klessa's chest, feeling the warmth fade, the small body growing still in that final, absolute way. 114 seconds dead. "Don't," Beck whispered. He was talking to the cub, to himself, to whatever merciless universe let children die. His other hand came down, both palms flat on the tiny chest, and he pushed. Not compressions, just pushing, like he could physically shove life back through sheer stubborn human refusal. "Don't you dare leave me." Tears ran down his face, dripping onto gray fur. "Don't you dare!" Something shifted under his palms. Thump. The first chamber of the Kithran heart firing like a gunshot. Beck froze, held his breath. Thump. The second chamber, 0.8 seconds later, exactly on schedule. Thump. The third chamber, completing the sequence. The heart monitor shrieked to life. Vitals exploded across displays. Klessa's chest rose, fell, rose again. Her amber eyes focused on Beck's face, confused, frightened, alive. The trauma suite went silent. Dorath's mandibles hung open, all forearms frozen midair. Pinnix's bioluminescent organs had gone dark, tentacles limp. Even Vrinth stopped, her massive frame quivering. Beck's hands were still on the cub's chest. He could feel her breathing, could feel her heart, all three chambers pounding in sequence. "What?" Dorath whispered. "How did you—" Beck had no answer. His hands shook so badly he had to grip the platform edge. 114 seconds of cardiac arrest, then spontaneous recovery? With no defibrillator? Just compressions and a fried neural stimulator? This wasn't possible. Klessa made a weak mule. Vrinth surged forward with surprising gentleness, her enormous paws cradling the small body, lifting Klessa against her chest, amber eyes streaming with tears. "She was dead." Vrinth's voice was hoarse. "I heard the monitors. She was... yeah." Beck stepped back, legs almost giving out. "Yeah, she was." Dorath skittered closer with scanning devices, compound eyes still leaking fluid. "This is impossible. The recovery time, the neural function..." He paused, looking at Beck. "You broke 6 of her ribs." 7, Beck corrected flatly. "I felt the 7th one go." Vrinth's head snapped toward him, ears flat, fangs bared. Then she laughed, a sound like gravel in a blender. "You broke my cub's ribs, bringing her back from death?" "Ribs heal," Beck said. "Being dead doesn't." Pinnix drifted closer, bell pulsing cautious green. "The administrator's report will need to address the unconventional methods, the deviation from protocol." "The successful revival of a patient who would otherwise be dead," Beck interrupted. "Put that in your report." Klessa was stirring, making stronger sounds. Her small paws batted at Vrinth's chest. Her eyes tracked across the room, landing on Beck with confusion or recognition or just residual chaos from being temporarily dead. Dorath's devices beeped. "No brain damage. None. This should be impossible. The oxygen deprivation..." "Maybe Kithran neural tissue is more resilient," Beck said, not believing it. "Or maybe..." Vrinth looked down at her cub, then back at Beck. "Maybe it wasn't just the equipment." Dorath was still scanning, devices chirping. Heart sequence perfect. All 3 chambers firing precisely. Respiratory function nominal. You brought her back from clinical death using equipment that should have killed her. "She's alive," Beck said. "That's the only thing I care about." Vrinth shifted her grip on Klessa, amber eyes fixed on Beck with uncomfortable intensity. "You refuse to give up on her. That's my job." "No." Vrinth's ears flicked forward. "Your job is to follow protocol, to document time of death, to move on." She stepped closer. "You went beyond your job. Broke equipment, broke protocol, broke my cub's ribs, and somehow brought her back when every regulation said it was impossible." Beck shrugged. "Got lucky." "Luck." Vrinth's laugh was softer. "Is that what humans call it when you refuse to accept reality and force the universe to bend instead?"
We call it stubbornness and bad decision-making. Sometimes they work out.
Klessa's amber eyes were fully focused now, tracking movement, clearly aware. Alive. "I need to keep her under observation," Dorath said. "Monitor for complications, ensure heart sequence stability." "Agreed," Vrinth said, not letting go of her cub. Beck moved toward the exit, his body screaming for sleep. "Beck," he turned. Vrinth watched him with an expression he couldn't read. "Thank you," she said simply, "for not giving up on her." Beck nodded once and walked out. The corridor was dim, lit only by blue emergency lighting. Beck's footsteps echoed off metal walls. His uniform was soaked with sweat and blood. His hands ached from compressions. He made it to the storage corridor before his legs gave out. Slid down the wall between shelving units, landing hard on the floor. 114 seconds. That's how long Klessa had been dead. And Beck had no idea why she'd come back. Maybe it was the neural stimulator. Maybe the compressions. Maybe pure luck. Or maybe it was a human standing over a dying child and screaming, "Don't you dare leave me," like the universe had to listen. Like death was negotiable, like refusal was a viable treatment option. Dorath appeared around the corner, compound eyes reflecting concern in 1,000 fragments. "Beck, are you injured?" "Just tired." Dorath settled onto the floor, folding his legs beneath his carapace. "What you did was impossible." "I know." "The neural stimulator should have caused catastrophic damage. The compression should have... You know what they should have done." "Yeah." "Yet she's alive. Perfect brain function, stable heart sequence, no permanent damage except fractured bones." He paused. "I've been a physician for 63 cycles. I've never seen anything like it." "Welcome to the club." Is this a human thing? This refusal to accept patient death? This willingness to break every rule for an impossible outcome? Beck thought about medical school teaching you when to call it, about combat zones where you had to triage, about every protocol designed to prevent exactly the kind of reckless desperation he'd just demonstrated. Then he thought about Klessa's small body, about Vrinth's roar, about 114 seconds of death that somehow reversed itself. "Yeah," he said finally. "I guess it is." Dorath's mandibles curved upward in what might have been a smile. "The other species are going to have a very difficult time with humans, aren't they?" "Probably." Beck pushed himself to his feet. "But we make medicine interesting. Tomorrow there would be incident reports and safety violations and formal inquiries. Tomorrow he'd have to explain how he'd brought someone back from clinical death. Tomorrow he'd have to face the fact that he had no idea how it actually worked. But tonight, a small Kethrin cub was alive and breathing, and honestly, that was enough.